You're not alone. Even with all the incredible support that I have, remarkable partner in Evie, great parents, incredible friendship group, my work were incredibly supportive. I still felt so alone when I got that news. We'd been trying for a few months. I would say probably around 6 months, but there was just always something in the back of my mind gnawing away that I just wondered whether there might be a problem at my end. And one of the things that we both experienced was what a lot of couples do, in that it becomes almost a job to try and do this at the right time, and we have to be ready to have sex at this time to make it right. And then even in that short time, you felt like the joy of that intimate experience, the most intimate experience a couple can have, became more of a job than a joy. So I would have been, hang on, how old's my son? I would have been, I think, about 41, and Evie's 3 years younger than me, so she would have been in her, just about to head into her late 30s.
So you went and got some tests, and then you were working as a sports broadcaster at the time, and you get this phone call. Can you walk me through what you heard?
So I saw the phone ring. We'd gone and had a consultation with Dr. Chandrika Palmer, and so when I saw the phone ringing, it was the clinic with the results, and they said, "Are you free to speak now?" And for some reason, I said yes, and I was about 10 minutes to go on air. And then she said, we've got your results in and there's 0. And I thought, do you mean like there's 0 that we can use? And she said, no, there's 0. And I just remember it hitting me like a ton of bricks. I thought there might have been an issue, but I wasn't expecting to be nothing. And I just remember being quite stunned, and I actually felt like I went into a very childlike place of almost like that feeling when you knew that you had let your parents down as a kid or your family down. I'm not a real man. I'm less, and I just it all started to just really cave in on me, and which is not a great place to be when you're about to go on air and start talking footy and all that great stuff. But I just ran outside, and all I could think to do was just to call my dad, and I just called him and just burst into tears and just said, I'm not a real man. I'm impotent. He was really good. He just said, I know that feels bad, but did you even ask what's next? Did you even ask what's possible? You know that's not true. And from there, he just said, why are you on the phone to me? Go and speak to Evie. So I rang Evie, I think, during an ad break, and said, we'll have a longer chat when I get home. But I said the same thing to her about, not being a man and this, I can't do the thing. And she just laughed that off, essentially. That was quite a powerful moment that she just laughed that off. She said, that's ridiculous. That's just, it couldn't be further from the truth. And then it was just about what can we do? What are our options? And that's where Dr. Palmer was incredible. She was very, very good at saying there's options. After going through that whole, is it me, have I done this, we found out what it was, and it was an injury that I'd had playing football as a kid. So we went on 2 different types of medication. We went and did acupuncture. We investigated all the foods that you could eat to help in that space. So anything that was organic or natural that would help with semen creation. We didn't drink. I exercised, and we tapped into the counselling service after we had a miscarriage. And the first and foremost, I really wanted my partner to be able to have that, because we've got to understand the division of labour in all of this, and it is 90%, 95% of the workload is done by women, and it's not to say that my grief wasn't valid and important in after that experience. But what she goes through is far more significant physically, emotionally, mentally. So I just really wanted her to be as well looked after as possible, and she was able to go and have a couple of sessions with the counselling service that Janaea provided, and it was crucial. Really, and part of me wonders whether without that counselling, whether we still would have forged ahead even, because we were in a pretty bad place. And then the work I did after that has actually made me a much better man than I think I was beforehand, ironically. And we were able to sort of do it hand in hand, side by side, with the help of Dr. Palmer and all the other people, family support, friend support. And that was, I think, really crucial for both of us, that we were both experiencing it. And Dr. Palmer just said, all it takes is one and one. All it takes is one sperm, one egg. And she said, I think it will take a miracle. It won't be easy, but I think this is a miracle that we can make happen as long as you're willing to do the work. And we did. And then the other part of all this was, well, how do we talk about this, especially with men? Why don't men want to speak about when they're struggling? Why is shame the feeling that came over me when I got that news? And that really troubled me. So I just thought, how do I want to approach it, and how do I want to talk about it? And like I've done with most things in my life, is to laugh about it. I got on air and just said, I got some news. I'm shooting blanks, and I got no ammunition, so we're doing all this work and we're doing all these things, and I just started to make jokes about it, laugh about it, to really play off that ridiculous concept that, you're not a real man if you can't do this. And the response I got on air was just incredible. And just the amount of people that have said that to me, either people I know or people who would text into the radio station and say, thanks for talking about this, because we never felt like we could, and I never felt like I could tell my mates. I was always embarrassed. I always felt ashamed. It actually does take balls to get tested. That's where the real courage in this is, to go and get tested. This is the easiest thing you will ever do in your life. You've been training for this moment since you were probably about 13. So it is one of the easier things you'll ever do, to go in and give your sample. And as a partner in a relationship, if you truly want to have a child, if you truly want to have a family, then leave no stone unturned. I just think that couples put themselves under so much pressure to conceive naturally, that if you knew that you had issues before you were going in, then you could just skip ahead to the point where you went and got help.
You've had your 2 miracles now, Sam. Just finally, for people who are watching, who may have also just had bad news about, men who are watching who have had bad news about their fertility, what would you like them to know?
That you're not alone. Yeah, even with all the incredible support that I have, a remarkable partner in Evie, great parents, incredible friendship group, my work were incredibly supportive, I still felt so alone when I got that news. It was, you just felt like you were nothing and no one and nowhere in that moment. So that's just not true. To just know that you're not alone, to know that there are options, there are the science and the technology is so incredible, and we're only discovering more, we're only learning more. As we remove stigma, we can forge forward with new research and new studies to give people more options than they've ever had before. So it's not the end. Don't just bury your head in the sand. Don't just turn your back on it. Please talk to someone. Most of any IVF clinic that you go to, one of the first things I'll do is offer the counselling service that is available. Use it. Use whatever you can to help you through what is a really difficult period. Talk to your partner first and foremost, and then find someone else to talk to as well, and then find someone else to talk to, and find someone else to talk to, and it'll be okay. It'll be okay.